What's going on, everybody? My name is Bear, and you're watching my channel PokeGoHeroes. And just like in the anime where heroes go on amazing adventures, you are the hero of this story, and I'm here as your guide. So today we're going to be talking about the best way to get a Hundo. So for those of you who don't know, a Hundo is a Pokemon with perfect HP, with perfect defense, with perfect attack. Let's go through all the ways that you could possibly get a Hundo. All right. So wild catches, if you don't know, have a 1 in 4,096 chance or odds of being a Hundo. The reason why that is because you have 0 to 15. And if you see me looking over here this whole time, it's because I've Googled this stuff and we're looking at Reddit. I'm going to share all the sources in the description so you can comb through the sources to your heart's desire. My job is to take those sources and digest them. So we're going to go through the sources together. You have a 0 to 15 in each stat. So attack, defense, HP. And so that's where we get the number. So since there are 16 possible values for each stat, and 16 to the power of 3 is 4,096. So weather boosting can increase that. So let's look at the weather boosting odds. So wild Pokemon caught in weather boosted conditions will have their IVs guaranteed to be at least 444. So that's the IV floor. So that's as low as they can go, which translates to an odds of getting a Hundo of 1,728. So let's say you have a Psychic Community Day, so a community day with Psychic Pokemon, and the weather is windy, then you would have a 1 in 1,728 odds of getting a Hundo. Don't lose heart. Stick with me. This is the worst way to get Hundos. But you're doing this all the time anyways, and you'll be surprised at how many Hundos you would get from that. The next I'm going to group together as 1 in 216 odds. So this is research tasks, raid battles, egg hatches, and the Go Battle League encounters. So the reason why that you have 1 in 216 odds with all of those is because you have an IV floor of 10, 10, 10. Since the IV floors are 10, 10, 10 for research tasks, egg hatches, and Pokemon Go Battle League rewards, there are only 6 possible values for each stat, from 10 to 16, so the odds of getting a Hundo from the research tasks and the other ones that I mentioned are 1 in 216, since 6 to the third power is 216. Here's a friend of mine, Brendan, or BHMK. What I'm going to do for this video is I'm not going to talk about the odds of getting a Hundo from a trade with a good friend, or a great friend, or an ultra friend. All I'm going to talk about is the best friend one. If you want to know about the odds of getting a Hundo from the other ones, you can look it up in the description. I think that would be a waste of your time because you're going to be best friends before you know it. It's a very fast process. So the odds of getting a Hundo from a lucky trade is 1 in 64. If you're already lucky friends, that's great. The odds of you getting a Hundo are 1 in 64. So that's when you would want to use things like a shiny legendary Pokemon to trade with your buddy. Now, regular trades. You should still do these because these are going to be the best way for you to get a Hundo. So you have a 5% chance of a trade turning lucky. If this trade becomes lucky, like I mentioned earlier, then you have a 1 in 64 chance of getting a Hundo. So overall, the chance of getting a Hundo in a regular trade with a best friend is 5% times 1 over 64, which equals 1 in 1,280. That sounds like a lot. That sounds painful. Oh my gosh, you tell me you have to trade that much? That's meeting up with your buddy once a week for 20 minutes to trade. That's all. That's all it is. You're already playing with your buddy on Call of Duty. You're already playing with them on World of Warcraft. You're already playing with them on Fortnite. Whatever your Among Us, whatever your poison is, you're already doing it. This is just a piece of the game night. This is not the whole thing. This isn't meant to be your main game. This is just meant to be a fun side hustle game. And to add some sweetness to it, you can go into the mainline Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch, Sword and Shield and Violet and Scarlet, and you can, I'm not going to say how, but with a very small dollar amount of money, you can quickly get a Hundo within a few minutes. I shouldn't say that. So what I'll say instead is that it is easy to manipulate the main games to get a Hundo within a few minutes. That's all. Now, that might feel super good to you, but for me, it depreciates it. It's like, oh, you have a Hundo, what? Oh, okay, yeah, give me 5 minutes. I'll I'll go get one. I'll go get a Hundo real quick of that same Pokemon in 5 minutes. It'll be easy. Be right back. Versus in this game, it is harder to manipulate in that way, so that the Hundos in this game have that additional value to them. And then some extra information is that the older the Pokemon, the more likely it is to turn lucky in the trade. So if you have one that's over a year old, it's going to have the odds of having a 20% increase in turning lucky. So trade old Pokemon. Only one of you need to do it. So don't both of you trade 2 old Pokemon. Just one person trades an old Pokemon for a newer one. And so the TLDR of this video is that the best way to get Hundos is by meeting up once a week, hanging out with your friend, having a conversation, and just chatting while you mindlessly trade Pokemon. And the way to do that is you tell your buddy up front, hey, with this event that's going on, there's a lot of Abras spawning. I really want a Hundo Alakazam. Save those Abras for me. Boom. It's as simple as that. Text message, done. And then when you meet up, you trade. Because I could show you right now where I have over 40 something Hundo water Pokemon, because my buddy knows that that's water Pokemon are my favorite. Ghost, Dragon, these are my favorite Pokemon. And so in the same way, that's how you are going to be able to get what you want, and quickly. So I have 147 Hundos, and I have played this game for 7 years because I took a year off. And so the odds are that I have 1.75 Hundos per month. So what that means is some months I get 3 Hundos, some months I get 1 Hundo, roughly. And so to me, that's reasonable. If it went any faster than that, you would burn through this game and be done with it. And here's the reality. Here's the deep truth. You want that Hundo Mewtwo. I know you do. You want that Hundo Mega Rayquaza. Shundo. You want that Shundo Mega Rayquaza. Ask anyone who's gotten it, though. Talk to them about it. The fever just migrates to the next Pokemon. The desire just moves to the next Pokemon. So it is, you might hear this all the time, but it is the truth that it is about the journey. And it's about getting your friend the Hundo. So you're going to have more happy chemicals in your brain when your friend gets the Hundo than you ever will by you selfishly getting that Hundo. It's not selfish, but you getting your own desires met is going to be smaller, because it's, you hear that phrase, it's better to give than to receive. That is so much the truth. And so you'll find that you're going to get way more pleasure out of this game by catching Pokemon for your buddy. So while that's the point of this video is the best way to get a Hundo, I would argue that an equally valid point is the best way to enjoy this game is to help your buddy get a Hundo. I think I've summarized it enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe, and please continue to give me the thumbs up. And I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and so I put out content like this. I cover the news of everything that's going on in Pokemon Go, why it matters in PvP, PvE, player versus player, player versus environment. And then I also break down the math for you in situations like this, so you can get that Hundo that you want. You can get that Shundo that you want. And so if you like that kind of content, please like and subscribe. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again.